All right, so the meeting is come to order. Let's call it 3 o'clock. Charlie, you're back on minute duty. I don't see any members of the public, so we don't have to do anything with that. Glenn sent us the minutes. Anybody need to make any corrections, additions, or? They look good to me. I can have a motion to accept the minutes.
Accept them.
All in
Yes.
favor?
Aye.
All right, so we approved the March minutes. They can now be sent to the great minute cloud in the sky. All right, so Earth Day table. So I printed out the schedule for Earth Day for you. So this is the whole day. I mean, obviously, we're not part of the whole day. So those are the speakers at the top.
Other times predicted with this?
Yeah,
It starts at
it
10?
starts at 10 and it goes, I think, to like 2.
No, and I meant with all these speakers here.
Yeah, on the next page, there's got the times there. So, that's what they have planned. So our table needs to be manned from 10 to 2. So we can each take a shift. If you want to look at the schedule, if there's something that you would like a speaker that you would like to hear, you could schedule your shift like before or after that speaker, if you're going to be there anyway. And if you notice, we are on the exhibits and activities section.
Are you participating in anything else other than, like,
No.
you're not doing the Cape Lake Compact, you're not?
No,
Okay.
they're manning that themselves. So that is the schedule. All right, so you can look at that.
So
And I'm assuming.
it says 10 to 2 someplace, right?
Yep, on the second
Okay.
page, you know.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 hours, so we should have an hour apiece or something like that, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be there the whole day. It would be nice if one of you would be there.
So we should each be there, you 4 hours and each of us 1 1/3 hours, 1 hour?
Oh, 1 hour.
I'll be there at 1:15.
Okay, so.
Well, I'll take the stuff from 11 to, or 11:15 to
So you'll be there
12:30,
11:15?
11:15 to 12:30?
Glenn, are you around this weekend? When can you be there?
I can be there with you at 10.
Okay.
And who's doing the 11 o'clock Cape Lake Compact presents the Clean Energy Picture of Massachusetts? I kind of like to hear that.
I would like to hear
I'm not
that
sure who
too.
they have for that.
Okay.
It'll be a staff member, you know, but yeah, I mean,
I would
definitely.
like to hear that too. That's
Yeah.
why I want to come just right
Yeah.
after that.
Oh, yeah,
so.
definitely make sure that you get there to do any of the speakers that you want to hear. You know,
Okay.
make sure you make those arrangements.
Do we have a copy of the handout that we're going to use?
Yes, we do.
Because, I mean, we really need to explain to the people that it depends on what kind of a heating system you have now.
And I think I sent this to you digitally at some point, but I have paper copies here. So this is the handout that Cape Lake Compact made just for us.
Okay.
And on the front, it gives a very brief description of, like, you know, what it is. On the back, it talks about the rebate briefly, so you can each have
Yeah,
one
I
of these.
don't
But
have
we really need to know what the system they're starting with, because whether it's, if they're going to ask if it's economically feasible, we need something like this to.
Okay,
to-
so here's what Cape Lake Compact wants us to, how they want us to handle it. Because it is the Wild West out there. I actually got a call from a Harwich resident who wanted me to come over and look at 3 bids that she got for.
Yeah, you told us that.
Yeah, you know, so it's like, it is the Wild West out there. So this is what Cape Lake Compact would like us to do. Number 1, we can talk to them in very, very general terms about what are heat pumps. And I have here some things that I laminated that will, like little diagrams that we can use, like to describe, you know,
look
Right,
at
here's a heating cycle, a cooling cycle, you know, just very simple diagrams
That's
that
terrific.
we can like point to.
Put on top of the table.
Right, and say this is, it's basically, if they understand what an air conditioner does, then they can understand
What
a
a
heat
heat
pump
pump does.
in very general terms. It's
Well, that's
basically
enough.
using a refrigerant to capture heat and move it.
But.
In the summer, it captures it from your house and moves it outside.
They need to understand some of the things about their own infrastructure. If they
Well, I'm
don't,
getting to that, yeah. we're
if
getting
they
to
don't
that,
have-
right,
Now, we did talk about
yeah.
whether or not we were gonna talk about ground source heat pumps.
I'm just saying that it exists. This is not what we're doing, this is not what most people are doing.
Okay.
It is available, and if
Yeah.
somebody wants to research that and go for it, they're much more expensive.
And what are the advantages of that?
They're more efficient.
More efficient.
They're more efficient, but if you look at that, it's something that costs tens of thousands of dollars to
boy.
put in. So if
boy.
if you're gonna live there for the rest of your life and you wanna
No.
commit to where you're living,
No.
then that
No.
might be a plan for you.
And if you lived in someplace like Iceland that has a lot of geothermal, then
Of course.
absolutely, you're gonna tap
Of
into
course,
that.
of
All right,
course.
so I'd like us to be able to, in very, very general terms, help people understand what a heat pump does.
so we're not gonna talk about,
We are, Charlie, just wait.
Got lots of energy after that long
Energy, all that
vacation.
vacation.
Before you go ahead, I, as a customer, would have one question. Give me an idea, how much money would I need to install a heat
All right,
pump?
so, and
That's a
that's
key
where you
question.
can't really, and this is what Charlie's getting at.
Yeah.
So, the main thing you have to ask a person, if they ask you that question, and we cannot tell them how much it's gonna cost.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Yeah.
But we can give them
A clue.
a clue, right? The first thing you're gonna ask them is, what do you currently heat with? All right? If they are currently heating with oil, resistance electric, or propane, then they will see a savings, because those fuel sources are fairly expensive. So, if they are currently heating with natural gas, they will probably not see much of a savings switching to a heat pump, which is why Cape Light Compact wants us not to underplay the savings aspect and emphasize the decarbonization, the climate aspects of it. Moving to a heat pump is not just about saving you money. Because if you're a gas customer right now, you're not going to see it. You're just not going to see the savings. But you will be reducing your carbon footprint, which is very, very important. So that's our message.
but there's more to it than that. If you have a resistance, or if you had radiators, and if you want to have air conditioning with the heat pump, which is what the natural thing was, you need a whole ducting system where you need these split units, and
And
that's,
for the current rebate system that exists today, it's all mini splits. Like if
okay,
like
so
I,
you don't even talk about ducts?
no.
Okay, I didn't
Now,
realize
some
that.
people have forced hot air anyway. They can get a whole house.
I didn't know it was all
Yes.
mini splits, I
Yeah,
didn't
it's
know
all
that.
mini splits.
So you don't
Unless-
worry about the duct system?
No.
Okay.
Some people already have ducts, and great, they can attach it to the existing duct system with a little bit of modification.
So our church just did a
Yeah.
remodel, and they have all the mini splits all
Yeah,
around the
we do
section.
too, we do too.
So
yeah.
that's a
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
And that's a valid point.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about what the infrastructure is in the beginning then,
No,
okay?
No, you do not. Now, some people might find the units hanging on the wall
Unattractive.
Ugly.
unattractive, but that's one of the, if you have a list of pros and cons, you could put that on the con side, I guess. It's something hanging on the wall. I think they're more attractive than a window air conditioner.
Absolutely.
You know,
I mean, oh, God. The
Those
window
are
air
really ugly.
conditioning is
Yeah, so
really nasty.
it's all mini splits. Like I said, the system that we have now does not address hydronic heat pumps, like air to water heat pumps. They exist, but they are not considered,
Air to water.
like my house, I'm never gonna switch to a heat pump until they invent something that works for my house. I have one that I use for air conditioning and auxiliary heat. But I have radiant heat in my house. I have pipes.
Oh, yeah, you don't
know,
have that expensive.
Which is, you can, I can't switch that to a heat pump, you know?
course, of
I would
course.
have to get a heat pump that would heat water to circulate in my house. And right now, that technology is not as far along
How,
as the air source,
how are you heating your water?
oil right now.
Oil.
And I have a Rinnai on-demand hot water heater, which is gas,
So it's tankless,
tankless, yep.
that's mounted on the wall?
Yep. Never run out.
When did you install that? How many years ago? Recently though, right?
Yeah, about 4 or 5 years ago.
Home run?
Oh, yeah. I would, it is wonderful.
Did you replace an old tank?
We had a,
Or
what do you call
tankless
it?
oil?
No, we never had the tank, we never had like the tank that was built into the furnace, you know,
Okay,
that, we never
yeah.
did that. Ours was an auxiliary, it was always oil-fired. We didn't have an electric hot water heater. We've never had an electric hot water heater.
But you had an oil-fired hot water
Yeah.
heater? So you had a bigger
Yeah,
tank? that-
yeah. It's a
okay.
superstore, you know, where your boiler heats up the water and it goes into this big whoop-de-doop storage tank and, you know. But that, we don't run that anymore. We just run the on-demand.
Couple $1,000s, a little bit more?
I have no
idea.
idea. My husband's a plumber. He puts all this stuff in, you know, so I don't have the real cost of things. But anyway, so a customer like me, I mean, I can put a couple of heat pumps in my house, like mini splits in my house that would give me air conditioning and auxiliary heat. Like we keep our oil-fired furnace set like at 65, and if it gets a little chilly, we turn on the heat pump and it takes the chill out of the air.
Yeah, so be careful about what was said earlier about, you know, we're talking about oil customers and propane customers
Right.
and electric customers, because there is a little group of people that want this, just like Val was saying, that want it for air conditioning. So you own a house and you don't like window air conditioners and you chose to put in this heat pump, okay? It's better than a window air conditioner, and
More efficient.
even though you have gas heat in your house, you know, you can put in the mini split, air condition your house, which is what you want because you don't want a window air conditioner. And then, like Val said, and like what she used it for, is that it supplements your gas heat. So let's say you have a smaller house and you put your mini split in, let's say your master bedroom. Now all of a sudden you got an air conditioner for your master bedroom, plus it's cheaper to run the heat pump than it is to burn your gas, maybe, depending upon the
Oil
price
would
of
be
gas.
better, yeah.
You know, but then you
Yeah.
can also use it to heat your bedroom, or supplement the heat that's
And
already
they
in
do
the house.
have rebates for people who are just doing the partial.
Just doing what?
Partial, like
Partial,
you were
yeah, yeah.
explaining. So there is, you can still get some rebate. It's not as good as if you convert your whole house. Now, if you're going for a whole house conversion and you're wanting to get the top dollar rebate, they currently require that you disable your fossil fuel heat source. So if you're heating with gas, for example,
That's me.
and you decide, I would like to have heat pumps. If you were to apply for the $10,000 rebate,
Does it say that in here?
Yeah.
I'm
Here.
telling you that this is a new.
Oh, okay.
this is a new
I might have
thing
the wrong
that-
side, I'm
yeah.
sorry.
They would come in and you would get your heat pump, you would apply for your rebate, but you would only qualify for that rebate if your gas system was made inoperable.
Does that mean you have to rip it out of there?
They don't make you remove it, they make you disconnect it.
Okay,
But it would
because-
have to be not operating.
Exactly, because what they,
But mine is operating.
Is there a time frame on that? I mean, like you could go 2 years and then
Installed in
reconnect it or something?
2015.
you know, the bottom line for the rebates is most people think of it as money. The state is thinking of it as decarbonization. And the reason they want you to disconnect your fossil fuel system is they want to count that carbon savings towards the state goals.
I would think you'd be required to rip it out.
Well, they may get to that
When
if
they're-
too many
when-
people
when-
are cheating.
When
and-
they're
and-
putting in the new sewer systems, they require you to smash up the old septic tank and take the thing
But
out and
right now,
destroy it.
the wording says to disable it. I don't know what all that means. Because if they're, that would add to the expense, and all of
Plus,
that.
it adds another question, right? So if you have gas
Right.
and you have a gas stove, do you just, do you make inoperable your gas furnace, but
Keep
still
it-
have the gas
right,
for their stove?
right.
So those are questions people would ask if they
Right.
got serious
Right,
about this.
right.
Do we know
Now-
the answer to that?
Well, I don't.
Well, I mean,
know.
you can make anything happen. I mean, you can stop your gas furnace from operating and still have gas coming to other appliances. I mean, that's easy enough to do. They're separate lines. that
So
go
that's
to
not
all
an
these-
issue then?
No, it's not an issue. But if you're looking at decarbonization,
Yeah, it would
some
make
of our
sense, of course.
some of our conversation is, we got to steer away from this. It's going to save you all this money. It is not going to save you. The heat pumps are not they're not the big money savers that for example, switching out the light bulbs were, because it was such a big difference between,
That made a huge
incandescent,
difference. I wouldn't even have a non-LED bulb. in the house.
Right. But this is like that borderline where we really are doing it not to save people money per se, but to decarbonize. Where the state has big goals for reducing carbon. We talked about this before. The 20, net zero by 2050. The state is making big plans to get this done.
I love
And this
it.
is just one of the tools that they're using to do that, is to try to reduce home heating by fossil fuel.
Yeah, and how do you get the 10,000? Do you get it on your income tax, or what do you get it
No,
on?
it's a rebate
It's a
program.
cash program you get?
It's a whole bunch of forms that you have to fill out, you and
Do you
your
get a check in the
contractor.
mail or something?
I guess so. I mean, that's what
Or
most
does it
people.
go towards the purchase, or what?
Most of these you have to pay up front, and then you get the money back. So you would get it to you, not the contractor.
I would assume I've bought energy efficient appliances, and it's $25 or whatever it is for a dehumidifier, $100 for a energy efficient refrigerator, and then just like Val said, you apply for that, you provide the receipt, and they send you a check 6 weeks later.
Most contractors that are working with Mass Save, that are doing these installations, can help the person with the paperwork that they need to get the rebate. The bottom line, though, for Cape Light Compact is that if a person needs a lot more detail, they're to call the number. Call Cape Light Compact. Because they have specialists working on staff that are answering the phones right now, that are helping people navigate this stuff. That's not our job. Our job is to make people aware, to help explain some of the pros and cons, and to help people on the right path. But before they do anything, they are getting a call.
And that's good, but I'll just ask the question, if I call that helpline, am I gonna get somebody that says, we'll be glad to send you out information, or are you gonna get somebody that's gonna be able to answer questions?
They're going to answer questions.
Okay, so
This
they're,
is an in-house call center. You're not getting India. You're getting
Okay.
Yarmouth. You're getting the actual Cape Light Compact office.
so you're gonna get somebody on the phone that
They have
understands heat pumps.
the Cape Light Compact offices, where all the people that make it happen have their offices, and then over there is the call center. They're in the same building or same area. So if there's somebody that gets a call and doesn't get an answer, there's a person sitting across the hallway that has that answer. Now, the other thing is, if somebody is interested in doing this, you cannot even start the process until you have an energy audit. And you will not benefit from a heat pump unless you have done all of the weatherization that was recommended to you. So the insulation, the weather sealing, because that is going to be where most of your efficiency is coming from.
I
Because
had
you don't
one of-
want to heat the great outdoors.
I have one of these energy audits,
Yeah.
and they put some, have a upstairs that's unheated. It's like it could be made into a couple other bedrooms.
Yeah.
And they put some insulation on the cathedral ceiling side, And then they said they wanted to spray in a bunch of foam on the top, but I have all plywood in there. And I said, well, if you put 2 foot of foam or something on top there, you have to go on top of so I have to raise the whole floor up 2 feet, so I got to rip up all the plywood and to put the foam in there. And I said, forget it. It's because I don't know how you can't I said, why don't you put the insulation on the outside edge? And no, we can't do that. We can only put it on the floor because this is not a heated surface up here.
Right, if that
And
wasn't, yeah.
So to me, but yet one of these drawings showed them doing for the energy efficiency, showed them doing
If it is a conditioned space, they call it a conditioned space. So if you heat and or cool that space, they could have done it on the ceiling. If you do not heat that space, it's considered an attic.
But you understand what I'm saying? I've already got a floor in there. I got a whole bunch of junk
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there.
But that
And
has
so
nothing to do with it.
But
Nothing to do with it.
They want to
is-
put the 2 feet or a foot of foam on top of that, and then I
Right,
put another
right,
floor, have
because-
another step up, so then they can't use the room as a bedroom or something.
because you are not heating that room.
But if you finished off
Then
that
they
attic,
put it up there.
then they'd put it up above rather than below.
right, so
But
if
they
you
don't
would-
want you heating empty space.
Right.
That's the whole idea of efficiency,
Right,
is to
right.
put it in the rafters up above.
Right.
But the attic does get really hot in the summertime up there, so it was.
Whole house fan, Charlie, whole house fan,
What?
Or,
a whole house
or
fan.
finish it off.
Maybe that's what I really need.
Yeah.
That'd be a better
Yeah, a vent.
solution.
Yeah, a vent.
I
Or
really-
finish it off.
Well,
Finish it off and put a heat pump up there, and then you could get all the insulation you want.
I don't really
First
need.
house, that's what I did, Charlie. I bought a cape all unfinished, put 2 bedrooms and a bathroom upstairs, and cost me about $3,000.
Well, I
Now,
don't
that was
think it'll be
40
a
years
little more
ago.
than today.
Yeah,
That was
like
40
40
years ago when I did
today would
that.
be
But I
40.
did all myself. I learned how to,
I would end
Best
up
thing I ever
having a dormer put in with windows and all this. I wouldn't just do the,
Yeah, I mean, it does add to the value of your home. I mean, definitely. More bedrooms and a bathroom, always a good thing to do.
there's only 2 of us, so we
Yeah.
can't really use
Right.
4 bedrooms.
Do you have a lot of company in the summer?
No.
Airbnb, Charlie.
Yeah.
Be able to afford that trip to Iceland.
Hey, baseball players are always looking for some place for the baseball players to live.
There you go.
But anyway, so that's why they did it. It has to be a conditioned space, and that was not a conditioned space. So, and you know, those are questions people ask, you know.
But Val, what you just said, so you need to do the energy audit and
Absolutely.
perform all the recommendations
Right.
before they give you the rebate for.
Right.
Okay. That's good, I didn't know
And
that.
it's so easy to,
Yeah,
It
you
takes-
can't just have the audit, you gotta do what the
you
recommendations.
gotta do what they tell you, and it's really cheap now. I mean, even for people who are not income eligible, they still pay up to 75% of what it costs, you know? So if they're telling you to get like insulation, you're only paying 25% of what it costs.
I have done 2 audits already in my house.
Yeah.
And insulation and all
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
blah, blah. Do I need to do it again?
Oh, no, if you can show that you've already had it done. I mean, yeah, I mean,
I'm
obviously. you
sure
don't-
I have the paperwork, yeah.
And I'm sure the Cape Light Compact still has
And these
it.
audits are all done through Cape Cod
Rice
Compact.
did it for me.
Right, well, they're the, Cape Light Compact, who is part of Mass Save, which is a state organization that does
Mm-hmm. I
this.
know through the
Yeah,
shrubs.
and RISE is the contractor that Mass
Yeah.
Save sends
Uses,
to your
yeah.
house, you
What-
know.
Was it RISE?
RISE, yeah, RISE. So that's kind of the scope of, you know, we're basically information, you know, very, very basic information about heat pumps, helping people
this is very helpful.
understand, you know, what their next steps would be, like, i.e., call Cape Light Compact, if you haven't had an energy audit recently, get one done. Try to make your house as tight as possible so that when you do get these new units, you're getting maximum savings from, and maximum benefit from them.
How many of these are we gonna have?
I've got I think they printed me, I don't know, 50 or something.
Okay, is
like
that enough?
Should be fine,
I guess so.
yeah.
I mean, how many people are they expecting of this thing?
I don't think they know.
Do these rebates come through Cape Lake Compact?
It's all part of the Mass Save program.
What-
Yeah,
okay.
but Cape Light Compact will help you navigate all of that with the forms and things like that. Now, here's the other thing, and I've mentioned this before, you just have to remind yourselves. If a person is a natural gas customer, they heat with natural gas.
Yeah,
then Cape Light Compact can't really help them. They have to call National Grid, which has the exact same program. Exact same program.
Really?
So, okay, if they,
Yeah, exact same program.
if they
If they
heat,
heat with natural gas,
I do.
yeah, then you would call National Grid, and they have, I said, the exact same program. Because it's all statewide. I mean, the whole state does the same rebates.
Where's the money come from? Somebody's gonna ask that.
Yeah.
It's your, if you look at your bill,
Yeah,
your electric bill,
yeah.
there is an energy efficiency charge. It's like half a penny or something like that. And everybody pays that. And that money goes into an account, a state account, and then the state uses that money to pay for like Mass Save, you know,
does it say anywhere on this heat pump stuff that the emphasis here is primarily not on saving money, but on decarbonization? I don't see the word on here at all.
Well,
And
it's
I know that's what you said,
right.
but,
Well, that's what we're supposed to,
well, I
That's the
see-
message we're supposed to
But there's
give.
one little word that says a lower carbon footprint,
Yeah,
but
right.
none of the other text is
Right.
really pushing that. So it's not a money-saving thing, it's a help
marketing.
the world type of thing.
it's a help the world type of thing. And
We-
if you,
say
like
we
I
got, we
said,
got all these storms every week, that are all these tornadoes
Yeah.
coming in here, these winds and everything else, it's raining all the
houses
time.
falling into the ocean, yeah.
Yes, right.
The people who will benefit the most are the oil, propane, and electric resistance heaters. Those people will save money because right now, electricity per kilowatt hour is cheaper than oil is right now. Gas is cheap
Cheap?
and cheaper than, for example, oil or electric resistance. The other thing, this is very important because I found out when I was talking to this lady. You have to remind people that they are still using energy to heat their homes, and their electric bill is going to go up. It's not like magic. It doesn't, you install a heat pump and you get this magic energy. So they have to expect a higher electric bill. Now, if you're heating with oil, you would offset that by not paying $1,000 to fill your oil tank a couple of times a year. So those people are going to say, yeah, I'm paying more for electricity, but boy, I'm saving a lot on oil. Gas customers, because gas right now is, some would say, artificially inexpensive.
How
But,
can they say inexpensive? I find it terribly expensive.
well, a lot of people.
Compared to
Right.
2 years ago, 3 years
Right,
ago.
yeah, everything's gone up. But anyway, so you gotta be careful to remind people that their electricity bill is gonna go up. Now, if they really want to make a whole system, then they can consider pairing their heat pump
Solar.
with solar.
And does Cape Light Compact help with that?
Here's an interesting thing, which gets us, I'm kind of jumping down. I'll give you an update from CLC about this. So,
Does it say anything about that on here?
no, that's our job.
That's why you're taking notes, Charlie.
Yeah. All right, so Cape Light Compact and the rest of the state. When I say Cape Light Compact, that includes all the other providers, the energy aggregators, and there are a bunch of them in the state. So we're all doing the same thing now, and that's new because previously, like there was the Lawrence energy aggregator and Cape Light Compact, and we all kind of did our own thing, but we were all under the umbrella of Mass Save. Well, when the new governor came in, Coakley?
Healy.
Healy. When Governor Healy came in, part of what she wanted to do is she wanted to kind of unify everything so that it was all one message. And so we're all doing the same things now. So if you see a program, if Cape Light Compact is offering a program and you have friends in Western Mass, for example, they can get the same program through their energy provider. So just to say that. So Cape Light Compact, this is a funny story kind of, about 4 years ago, which was a very different time, in the world of rebates and all of that kind of stuff. So we were trying to figure out how can we help people get solar systems, because they're expensive, and if you went to a regular bank and you had to borrow money to put a solar system on, you'd be paying like 6% interest, and would you really be saving much money? Blah blah blah. So there was a grant program through the Rural Utilities Service, a little known part of the federal government. Rural Utilities Service for the Rural Energy Savings Program. So Cape Light Compact, this is 4 years ago. Cape Light Compact filled out the paperwork and sent it in. Radio silence. About a month ago, they said, oh, they got a call. You got it. Nothing for 4 years. Mm-hmm. So what this is Cape Light Compact, the federal government is giving Cape Light Compact $4.9 million, zero interest. It's like a loan, but we don't really have to pay it back as long as we're using it.
Okay.
And our Cape Light
To encourage solar energy?
Right, and so what Cape Light Compact is doing, and that the program isn't ready yet, they're gonna roll it out in the fall. So, and we partnered with Cape Cod 5, the bank. And Cape Cod 5 is going to be our loan manager. So let's
So
suppose.
they are going to manage the 4.9 million?
Is it go until it's exhausted? Is that the way?
It's revolving. If we make this thing
No,
work.
no, what I meant was, once the 49.9 million, I haven't decided to go to solar until I get a new roof on it. And I've got a 35-year roof, and I probably got about 4 or 5 years to go. And what I'm asking is the 4.9 million going to be refreshed, or is it going to go until it's exhausted? and then-
Refreshed. Yeah, this Rural Utilities Service, this program, said if you are successful, if you create a program and it's working, you can ask for more money.
Rural utilities, what was it?
It's called Rural Utilities Service,
Okay.
and it's the Rural Energy Savings Program that was the name of the grant. And I guess we're rural enough out here.
Didn't you say world?
Rural,
rural.
Yeah,
Boy, I
like
got
country,
world.
We're out in the country. So this is how it's going to work. So let's suppose Glenn has decided he wants solar on his roof. Now, I know nothing about your income, Glenn, but for discussion purposes, you do not qualify for low income. All right, you are what we call market rate customer.
Okay.
So you have two choices right now. You can pay cash you can liquefy some of your assets and pay for it.
Or get a 0% loan.
Well, it's not going to be zero. Hang in there with me.
Okay.
Or you can go to the bank on your own and get like a home equity loan or
Yep.
something like that, which
6.5%.
6.5%. So what Cape Light Compact is doing is they got the money for 0%, but they have administrative costs. I mean, we have to Cape Cod 5 is not going to, out of the kindness of their heart, manage this.
Absolutely, boy.
So
They're a bank.
we're hoping that the program allows us to charge up to 5% interest, but we're trying to keep it more like 2%.
So essentially, we're going to take this pot of money that the federal government is giving us.
Yep.
We're going to loan it out to people who want to put up solar panels on their
Yep.
house, just
Yep.
that,
Yep.
not the heat pumps.
Yep.
And for that, because nothing's free,
Yep.
it's going to be a low interest
Very low
loan.
interest.
But 5% is super high.
Don't,
I
don't,
think.
don't,
No.
just don't give a number. Just say
Yes.
that it's going to be a low interest.
So
We
you-
don't know the
So you
rate
wouldn't
yet.
get a rebate then? You wouldn't get a piece of that 4.9 if you paid cash?
No.
That's only for loans.
Right, it's only for loan. This is for
Okay.
people who have to get a loan to do it.
Okay, I didn't
So
realize
it's
it.
mainly middle income
Yeah,
people.
it's not for you, for anybody at this table. This is for somebody who's starting off in
Yeah.
life, doesn't have a lot of income,
Right.
and they want
If
solar.
and here's the thing that's going to it's exciting, but it's it's confusing, and it's behooving to us to make sure that in the future, we always tell people, call Cape Light Compact.
Absolutely.
Because next year, there will be many programs available for solar. When we applied for this, there wasn't really anything out there, and so
Why
we were
next
trying
year?
to fill a void. But come next year, and it will be a tiered system. So if you have like a neighbor who qualifies for what they call moderate income, they won't need this loan. They're going to get it for free anyway. You
But
know,
what
from
will
other
happen-
programs. Other programs are going to exist. So when you call Cape Light Compact, one of the things that their navigators are going to do is they're going to make sure that you're plugged into the best program for you. You know, based on what you need, based on your income, based on, you know, all of that. So that, because that's part of the problem right now, is there's all this stuff out there, and the average person doesn't know where to begin to access that.
So if I want to put solar in down,
Yeah,
okay, and I'm a, what did you call it, not a low income, what's the?
Moderate income.
Moderate income, and you want to install that. What is out there today to help me install that?
well,
Federal program, state program?
there's a Cape,
Are we departing from this energy, the Earth Day thing? Are we into a new topic now?
Well,
somebody asked me about, we said on Earth Day, we're going to tell people they can reduce they're going to get an increased electric bill with heat pumps. They can
So-
help that by putting solar up to help with the cost of the
So
electricity.
we're still talking about Earth Day?
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
just a side.
And if they ask you about solar, there's a lot of programs called Cape Light Compact. All right? Because they're going to steer you in the right. There are things available. We have the Cape Light Compact currently has a program for decarbonizing low and moderate income homes. But again, that's a different program from this
Right, no,
rebate.
I understand,
Yeah.
but, and
Yeah.
I know my answer will be
Yeah,
Cape Light Compact, 1-800-797. They've got lots of good information. But I'm just curious for myself, if somebody today, before this 4.4 million, or 4.9 million comes in, if somebody wants to put a solar panel, I know that you can lease, and most people get steered away from
No, we're
leasing.
trying to-
You don't want that.
yeah, yeah.
So if I wanted to put in solar panels on my house today, I know that there's money out there. I know that when I go to Costco and they're giving me the sales pitch, that they're telling you about how cheap it's gonna be because of
Right,
X,
right.
Y, and Z. So I'm just curious, out here on the Cape,
See,
are there programs?
Yes,
And the answer
yeah,
is there's
Cape Light,
programs
yes.
called Cape Light Compact.
and they
Don't go
have-
into the details.
Right, right.
By the way, I was out hiking up near Mashpee the other day, and they're putting in these huge transmission towers and putting it right parallel to this other transmission line out there. And they've got all this infrastructure that they're putting all around Hyannis. They digging up all the roads. I couldn't, so they are putting in all this infrastructure for all these wind turbines that are going to be powering the
Right.
lines and shooting the power back off Cape and
Yeah.
with all
I
these
mean,
high
it's gotta
lines. So
happen.
it's happening right there physically. You could see the work being done. They got all kinds of cranes over the place and everything else, and those
That was
towers.
my
are-
life for 15 years, Charlie. That's the kind of projects I did,
Well, they're pulling it right next to the other lines system.
because that's where the right-of-way is.
Right.
You're
They
not-
own that
They
property.
got two parallel lines.
They don't own the property.
Where do they get it from?
It's right-of-way.
Oh, so somebody
So,
else?
so somebody can have a farm,
Yeah, okay, yeah.
but
But
very
they're
little,
allowed.
the substations,
Yeah.
you'll own the land.
Okay.
But the transmission lines, the land it goes over the top of, those are usually right-of-ways.
Got it, yeah,
So-
yeah.
What
That's what
does
I-
that mean?
Any other questions about Earth Day? I'll be there the whole time.
Slideshow? Are we gonna do a slideshow, or not slideshow, remember you had a video that we are gonna put on a laptop? No?
I'm gonna see how easy that is to run. I might or might not have it
Okay.
when we get
So
there.
how big is the table we're gonna have? Is it gonna
Just
be,
a regular, like, maybe a little bit bigger than that,
so
Yeah.
is
you
there gonna
know.
be room for 2 or 3 people to sit at it? Or
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna handle one person at a time, or what are we gonna do?
Well, if there's 2 of us, then we can handle 2 people, you know? I mean, it really depends on who's there, you know? And I think it's very informal. People will wander by, and if they want to ask you a question, and I'm thinking about getting You used to use them for your science projects, you know, those, there are these boards that they're like they stand up on a table, and you can make like a display out of
Yep.
them, yeah. And just-
Whiteboards or something like that?
Well, it's, you know, it's like poster board, but it stands on a table.
It's hinged, yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
hinged. and
we're
it's-
not gonna get these numbers from 1 to 50 so that people to take the number and wait to talk to us?
No.
I don't think we'll have that many people,
Super
to be honest with
informal.
you, but anyway, so that's, it's pretty simple. We're kind of emphasizing heat pumps, but
Decarbonize.
it's decarbonization. There's a lot of programs available now, but there's also some programs in the pipeline called Cape Light Compact. That's your best bet.
Okay.
All right, so next one. Now we're talking about the project that we're doing with the joint with the other energy committees. So this is the schedule of those programs.
And
This is a different thing.
Right,
We're
I
done
know.
with Earth Day.
Yeah, are we gonna assign each of us to go to one of these things or something?
Totally up to you. I will be at them.
You'll be at all of them?
The ones that are in Harwich.
Oh.
I'm not going, they're all the same.
Okay,
All right, so let me explain to you.
so we're not going to the ones that are in
No.
other towns?
Not unless you want to, but so this is what we're doing. We have these, it's a canned program, all right? This will be, it'll be presented by a Cape Light Compact staff person. It will not necessarily be the same staff person at each one, but the program
Hello?
will be the same.
I'm noticing here that the only one that's listed is, there's two.
Two for Harwich, is
Two of
the library and the community center.
I guess I won't be here for the free library because I'll be out of the country then, so I.
Right, you
I guess
can
I'll-
come in at the community center in June.
Okay, I'll make sure I go to that one, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not gonna expect it to go to the other ones then?
No, and we're not doing anything. Our role is just to be to represent the Harwich Energy Committee to the ones that are in Harwich.
So we're not doing any table there or
No,
something
no
like that?
table, we're not speaking, we're not presenting a program.
We're just attending, is that
We're
what?
we're attending, and I will probably introduce the speaker
Okay.
when they're here, and.
So we're running it then, aren't we?
Well, Cape Light Compact is,
Running.
this was a joint project between,
Can and Cape Light Compact.
well, Orleans Energy Committee, Eastham Energy Committee, it was, and not even the whole committee, it was individuals from those committees got together.
So the eastern one will be run by Tom McNeil and company and
Or the Climate Action Network, the Eastham Climate Action Network.
Okay.
One of those people will be there.
okay.
And then, Orleans, it'll probably be Martin from Cape Light Compact, because he's also on the
You know what
energy-
day of the week that is, that one in June? Has anybody got a
I think
calendar?
it's a Saturday.
Saturday, okay.
Yeah. So, but what we're saying, Glenn, is we are not, all we're doing for this is attending. We're not doing anything, I will probably introduce the speaker, but I think it's good to have
Presence.
somebody from Harwich Energy there, and if you are there, I will introduce us to the audience, so if they had a question of us, they could ask us questions.
Is it a particular room in the Harwich Community Center, do you know, or?
They haven't said yet.
Oh, okay.
And is it just the one person, Mike McNeely? Mike, is that his right?
Tom.
Tom McNeely. Or are there a couple people that are presenting this?
This would be done by Cape Light Compact.
But I mean,
So
how many people are going to be there giving the presentation? Just one person?
Yeah, it'll be Cape Light Compact.
Okay.
They will have a PowerPoint and all
Gotcha.
of that.
Okay.
They will cover briefly these topics.
And do we want to hand out these on Saturday too?
I'm gonna try to have Cape Light Compact remember to bring them on Saturday. I don't wanna print 100 of these myself, but I will contact them make sure that they bring them, so we could also have these on our table.
So is Cape Light Compact gonna put this like into the Chronicle so that there's?
Yes, they actually have a press release, and so they are doing the advertising, and they're
Do we need to advertise these things?
Yes, yes,
If
and
you want to get attendance.
Yeah, there's a
somebody gotta-
person at Cape Light Compact whose job it is to get this out into the media.
There's a local radio station that I listen to, 101.5, I think it is. It's W Coffee or something like that. And it plays these old hit tunes, but they always talking about the local community events that are going on in all these different towns and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And so if you could get onto something
Yeah.
like that too, I think that's.
The one thing that, when we got together to talk about doing something like this, the group that met, which were individuals from the committees, you know, one of the things that we said is that we need professional help when it comes to advertising. We can't do it ourselves. Running around and sticking a poster up at Stop and Shop is not going to do it, right?
And the other thing is, if they could get on that radio station, for example, and advertise this Earth Day thing,
Yeah, well, we're not in charge of Earth Day either, so.
well, I mean,
but I
the
do-
more advertising you
right,
do,
right.
the more public
Yeah, and I
you're
don't
gonna
know
get.
what they did, you know, they might have done something. I am not privy to what HCAN
Okay.
did for advertising. But I do know that Cape Light Compact is going to, they already have a press release that they're putting out, which you will probably see in the newspaper or hear on your favorite radio station, all right? So, and social media. So that's that. Try to attend the ones that are in Harwich. It's not, the only advantage to going to one of them in another town is just different questions. You know, it's going to be the same program, but you can hear what those citizens are saying
Yeah.
and asking, and you know, so that would be the only. If you had the time and the wherewithal to do, it might be interesting to hear what the Orleans people are saying, or hear what
Yeah.
the Eastham people are saying, or you know. So, it's definitely not required. All right, number 6, I already told you about that new loan program. I think it's going to be very helpful, particularly for the people who do not qualify for any of the low or moderate income programs that exist. It's one way to get a very, very low interest loan and get that. So, oh, and also, you were talking about your roof, Charlie. I think it's also going to cover things like new roofs. So like if you're stuck and you wanted to do solar, but you kind of got caught in that,
Well, I just
can't
don't
do it
want,
because I knew I
I
gotta
don't
have-
want to put solar energy on and then take the whole system off
right,
to
and
put a
they
roof
don't,
on.
they don't want to do it either.
Oh,
I mean,
no, you
So
don't
I
want
want to
that.
do it in the right order,
Right.
and I'm waiting, I don't want to do it fast because they want to put solar energy. I want to do it when it's time to do it. That's, every time they call me about this, that's what I tell them. I said, I'm not ready,
Right.
I'm tied up, I'm going to do it, but I want to do
Right.
it in my schedule, that's all.
But that new program in the fall will cover certain things, like, for example, if the roof is, you know, causing you not to be able to have solar. What was this? A couple of other things, like if you had knob and tube wiring, they can't, there's certain things that, like during your energy audit, there's certain
If
things
you
they
still have
can't
it, you ought to
do.
be tearing your walls out and fixing it.
Right, so anyway, it's very fluid right now. The program is not fleshed out yet, but come fall, I think it's going to be a nice program for a lot of people.
So they're going to pay for your roof?
They're going to loan you the money.
Oh, okay, they'll
You know,
loan
this is
you
a
the
loan.
money.
5%, I find
It's not gonna be
5%
that-
super
that-
expensive.
That is the maximum the government would allow us to charge. We're not going to charge 5%.
Yeah,
So what we're trying to figure out is what is the overhead cost of running the program.
so you will let us know.
Yep. Good. Well, they're going to let the whole world know once it's finalized, and
And Cape Light Compact has got the ball and is running with it.
yes.
So they're gonna take some of that money, or they're gonna have costs associated with managing this.
Right.
They're not gonna do it for free. So that combined with Cape Cod 5, their costs is how they're gonna determine what the
But
interest rate
they've
will be.
already gone through, like, they had to do all of that before they applied for the loan. They had to show the government that they had calculated. Now, remember, I told you that was 4 years ago, so there's going to be some recalculation happening, but it's not going to be 5%. My guess, and don't quote me on this, my guess it's going to be around 2%.
So they actually mentioned the roofs then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So hang tight, you know, there's stuff coming down the
Yeah,
pike.
I would be interested if
Yeah.
it's 2%.
Yeah, I mean, which is a very good rate in today's world. So let's see what happens, but we got the money, we were very surprised, and.
And this has got nothing to do with income at all, for this
Right,
one,
this
for
would,
this
this would
one.
have nothing to do with income, you would still have to qualify. I mean, you'd have to be like any loan, you know, you'd have to go through a back, you know.
They can pay it back.
You're right, you have to prove that you could pay it back, but, and like I said, if the program is successful, the federal government will replenish that 4 million and keep it rolling. Like, you could expand it, like, and it's the kind of program that it's not like Cape Light Compact is getting a check for $4.9 million. Cape Light Compact is developing a program. So let's suppose in the fall they roll out the program and 20 people sign up. And it's going to cost $500,000 to do everything these 20 people want. Then Cape Light Compact tells the federal government, you can send us the first 500,000 because we're ready to go. And so that's, and as we add people to the program, the federal government sends more money and more money.
But is that $4 million, is that just for Massachusetts, or is that for?
Just for Cape Light Compact.
Oh, just for Cape, okay, I didn't realize that. I thought maybe it was the whole country or something.
I'm curious to know, because Cape Cod 5, it's a corporation, it's a moneymaker. So they will participate only if it's interesting to them. So they will charge.
They've already agreed, you know, they've done all the paperwork and everything, and they've already agreed to service the
Maybe
loans.
it's because it gives them visibility and part of the
I
game.
think they're doing it not for free, but I think they're doing it at a discount because it helps them in the community. I mean,
Visibility, credibility, all
Right,
those good
right,
things.
right.
yeah.
And they are a local bank, you
Yeah,
know, as
yeah.
opposed to.
And they try to be very visible because
Right.
they are everywhere.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, so it's a good, I think it has the potential of being a very good program. It's going to be helpful to a lot of people.
Yeah.
All right, Glenn, any new things on EV charging?
Let's start with CVEC, right?
Oh, CVAC, right, yeah, let's start with CVAC.
Okay, let's see here. We do have a board of directors meeting in May.
Oh, good.
Later in May, so if you guys have any questions you want me to fire off at CVEC,
Community solar.
here we go. I'll just read to you, it
Okay.
makes it easier.
Yeah.
You know, Maria, I will be attending the monthly meeting in
Yeah.
May. Also, I request your assistance, guidance in building a community solar farm on town property in Harwich. I believe our energy committee would like to bring a proposal to our town manager and select board, and we are looking for guidance on our next steps. Below, please find some basic questions I have on going forward. Would CVEC be the entity that brokers a deal with a contractor to build this project? I believe the answer is an obvious yes, but having never gone through this process, I'm looking for the specific assistance that CVEC provides or something like this. Next question, do you have a list of companies/vendors that would be interested in pursuing a project like this? Next question, in past conversations, you have discussed how solar projects have seen a significant increase in price due to the years of COVID and the backlog that was created. Can you expand on this? What are the different options that we should be considering in putting together a proposal for our town select board? I have a number of other questions, but for now I'm looking for basic info that I need to put together to bring to the board.
So these questions, you posed to them already, or you're going to pose to them?
No, I already sent it.
Oh, you
I already
sent-
sent this to CVEC so that they can answer me, and so I can bring back the
Hopefully,
answers
yeah.
for the next meeting.
Can you send me a copy of that?
Sure.
With email or fine?
I'll send that. And if you have any other questions that you have, fire those to me and I'll
I'd just
bring
like to
them.
make a reference to it, that we were asking these kind of questions, so that I didn't make it say anything illegal, but Julie Kavanaugh used to come to these meetings occasionally. This
Yep.
new guy that we got, he's the one that got rid of the whole golf committee he's never been to our meetings ever, you know.
I understand he has mobility issues and stuff from.
Serious
yeah.
health issues.
So that's,
Who has the health issues? Who?
Don Howell?
Oh, really?
Oh, very serious health issues, yeah.
Like what? Mobility.
Mobilities, he's had some.
It's
like-
tough.
So just email me the.
I'll send
Yeah,
that to you.
multiple
And like I said,
surgeries.
if you have any
and,
questions,
that type of thing. so.
I've got this meeting coming up, plus I don't have a problem with going sitting down with Maria too, so that she just gives me a punch list of things that we need to get. I don't want to go to the board, or Val go to the board,
Yeah.
or sit down with Joe Powers unless I've got those real basic answers.
Right.
And that way, when we go in there, we can say, here's what it looks like, because I do know that prices have gone through the roof since
Yep.
COVID, and I don't want to go in there and say, hey, this is great, we're going to get this for free. Well, I don't think we can say any of that, but I want to have the message, the right message to give, and I want to get that.
Are you
from
still
Steve.
looking at the land across from the?
That's what I'm talking about.
The
That-
transfer
that-
center?
Yeah. that's
Is it
land.
treed?
What's that?
Is it treed? Does the trees have to come down for it?
Yes.
Yeah, we'd have to take down trees. I think that's a, come on now,
Yeah, but that- I mean,
that's a
that-
non-issue to me,
Right.
but
I-
to other
I-
people it might be, but,
Please
I
then
send you
send me a
guys-
copy also,
Yeah.
because I want to
Yeah.
educate myself.
sure, sure.
I think, if I didn't, I will make sure I do. There was an article that I had of boatload of money going into community solar from the federal government, you know, so I think things are gonna break open on
And if
that.
Maria has all that,
Yeah.
That would be a
then
dream.
we'll get in line as soon as we can.
Yeah, so I'll try to find that and send it to you. I thought I brought it with me, but apparently.
And that's all I have for CVAC.
Okay,
And as far as
good.
EV charging, I sent something to Joe Powers, and this was a while ago. I'll just do the same thing, I'll read it off to you. Joe, please find an email that I received from Sean Hogan of Barnstable. As you can see, the town of Barnstable's cost for installing 5 level 2 chargers is less than $5,000. Just something to think about when you're determining the dollar amount that you'll be asking the town for. I know we have talked specifically about the schoolhouse parking lot, but I would consider asking for $25,000, then having the flexibility to install other chargers at other town locations of your choosing. Just a thought, because he doesn't want us doing stuff, he just wants us recommending stuff, right?
Right.
So here's the email that I actually sent to him that came from the new manager in Barnstable. Here's a vague breakdown of one of our projects. Total cost around $135,000 for 5 level 2 dual port chargers, which is what we were originally talking about. 10-car charging ports.
I thought you said it was 5K apiece. You
think
said, you
that's-
said 5K apiece.
That's after
No.
all the,
No. Town of Barnstable's cost for installing 5 level 2 chargers is less than $5,000. So let me finish this whole email and then you can fire away. So here's a big break, total cost around $135,000 for 5 level 2 dual port chargers. About $60,000 from Eversource for utility work, and this is where the money's coming from. About $40,000 from Eversource for charging equipment, about $5,000 from Eversource for software, about $25,000 from the state for charging equipment. These are rough numbers with the town responsibility coming in at 5K. Actually, it is more like 3K, something, but I've done a bunch of rounding with these numbers and want it to be consistent. I think we're going to use Loop as the hardware provider because they don't have a yearly software cost. They take a 10% cut of the revenue instead. So, as you can see, that of that big number that I gave you, Eversource and the state, the Mass EBIT, is paying for most of it.
Can I get a copy of that too, please?
Sure can. So that they're looking at to be putting in these 5 charging
So
stations.
the net charge to the town
about 5,000.
is 5,000.
And what he said in Barnesville, 3, so I rounded up to 5, he rounded up to 5. And then what I threw at Joe Powers was, because I'm used to things not being, I mean, he might have gotten better deals from Eversource than we're gonna get, I don't know the details. So that's why I threw at Joe
Right.
$25,000, and then we'd have more money, and I'm not gonna, or we aren't gonna have to go back to the till
Right.
if we want to put in other locations in town. So I figured $25,000 was a low enough number that wouldn't kill him or freak him out. And here's his response that he gave me. Hi, Glenn.
Okay.
Thank you for sending the information along. Given that there are less funds available at this town meeting than anticipated, I am seeking other funding sources from existing line items. Given the cost estimates you provided below, I am confident that I can identify a source in the coming weeks. So he's saying that,
Well, and you're gonna remember,
yeah,
we are like, of all the brouhaha going on in town, you know, like, we're like down here in importance, you know?
Of course.
I mean, that whole thing with the Brooks building, you know, and I don't know if you were aware of that, but Joe Powers thought he could just take money away from the renovation of the Brooks Academy because he's having trouble balancing the budget.
well, I'm learning
And-
stuff here.
And, but he didn't consult with anybody, and the building's like half done. And the money had been committed, and he just thought he could just move that money arbitrarily.
So you couldn't finish it?
Well, the finance committee took exception to this, and they put it back in back into the budget. You know, so there's a lot of budget issues going on. That's just
That.
one of them.
Yeah.
Where Joe is struggling. You know, so I think we should plug away, but don't expect that an EV charging station is going to be the top of the concern list for the town. But we'll keep at it, but there's a lot going on that
I didn't know that.
supersedes.
I did not know that.
Yeah, supersedes.
Well, hence that describes his last
right,
sentence and the
right.
fact that he's trying to find money.
Right, right. So, anyway, so they,
Well, maybe they need to raise taxes if they can't afford to do all the projects that
Yeah.
they're scheduled here.
I think that it's,
I'm not happy writing my check that is coming first
Well-
of May.
yeah, it's,
But a lot of these
All-
other towns, for example, they had us doing this not a opinion poll in the last poll that I had to do here, and they wanted to write down that when you're talking about where
Right.
Harwich is going
Right,
to, I guess in the
right.
future like that. And I put down, well, we have one roundabout in Harwich, and all these other towns like in Chatham and Orleans, they got roundabouts all over the place, and we have a lot of busy intersections in here. Why can't we do something like that?
most of that is state, like if you're talking about Route 28, then
Well,
that's
we
a
don't
state
see-
issue.
Even the Route 28 has got potholes all the way. I know a
That's
few
a-
years,
that's state.
I know a few years ago, they tried to push that, to put sidewalks
yep.
in there, and they got voted down to town
They
meeting.
are putting
And
sidewalks
the
from
road's in
Saquatucket.
terrible condition. If they want to get tourists in here, they've
Yeah.
got to spend
Yeah.
money, and they've got to make the
Right.
infrastructure.
If it's Route 28, that is the state.
Well-
Harwich has nothing to do with that.
the-
28 is state. But we are
I
getting sidewalks.
don't-
The state is putting sidewalks from Saquatucket up to Harwich Port.
I don't see them putting anything into infrastructure in the town or anything money, and maybe they just need to raise the taxes to make it so that you could have good
Well,
infrastructure.
they gave Joe Powers a 20% raise.
I'm not talking about that kind of, I'm talking about raising more money for projects.
Yeah. Well, which makes me even more convinced that the town needs somebody like a grant writer. Because these charging stations, they will cost a diddly squat in the end. But you need somebody to manage all of that. You need somebody to get all the paperwork done and get the applications in and to keep in touch with Eversource and that type of thing, to get that money. And if you don't have somebody doing that, then you miss out on all this free money. I mean, that was part of going to green communities.
Maybe they should pay us a salary.
Yeah.
We could do it.
Anyway, so we're gonna put off the charge.
Yes,
Okay,
please,
all right, we'll put that off for another time.
for me.
Now I go back to work May 6th.
So we'll have to meet at 5 o'clock.
Well,
Can we change it from Thursday?
we can, and what I was thinking is that maybe we could keep 3 o'clock. But on one of my days off, so.
Could it be like is it a floating day or what?
No,
What day of the week is it?
It will eventually potentially, hopefully, be Monday and Tuesday.
Very
So, I was
Be
thinking
like
that,
3 o'clock on Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah,
And it
so-
would move one from one week to the, 1 month to the other?
we could pick a day. I mean, if it's going to be, and I can't carve that in stone yet, but what I'm going to say is, why don't we tentatively schedule it for May 20th?
Which day is that?
It's a Monday.
Okay. I'll be back here.
At 3 PM. And I'm going to try to,
See, with that, we don't have to go get a key and.
Exactly.
and,
Oh,
Exactly.
it's terrific, yeah.
And
So manageable.
I have a dinner thing until the 31st of May on Thursday nights, and so
Right, right.
that screws that up, and I
Right.
either gotta miss one or the
Right,
other, and,
right, right. So I'm going to contact work and, try to get them to nail down my days off. And
So
I
you will let me know,
I will
so
let
I
you know,
reserve.
before you schedule it, I will let you know. But let's tentatively pick
Okay.
Monday, May 20th at 3 PM.
Okay,
What do you do, Val? Do you work 5 days a week?
I work weekends.
okay.
So we'll try to do that. Once the summer gets underway, then my days off don't change. I mean, but it's at the beginning when people, because not everybody arrives at the same time. Like we call it onboarding. We don't onboard at the same time. So like I will start in May, but there's other people that won't start till June, and so we don't have a full staff until like the beginning of July usually. And once the full staff is there, then everything settles down.
should I put the schedule for who's gonna attend at what time?
Oh, I don't think so.
In the minutes? No?
I don't think so. It just people will come when they can.
Well, I meant on our schedule here.
Oh, I think just come when you can.
Okay.
That way you, if
Well,
something
he's coming
comes.
first, and I'm coming second, and then I guess
Yeah,
Valerie,
I'm gonna be there the whole
Jacqueline's
day,
after the
so.
third one.
Val, can you send me you probably already did it once, but remember there was a video that I said that I thought was good, and you also said the
Yeah,
same
I'll
thing?
send you the link.
Send me that, because I just want to go through that.
Yep.
Even if we don't have it on a laptop, because I had some good stuff in there.
Yep, yep.
I don't like to sound ignorant when somebody asks me a question.
And don't forget to send me those two
I will.
things, please.
All right, so meeting adjourned.
Fantastic.
4:00.